All right, I got my hands on this Bassbreaker 30R from Sky Music here in Melbourne, Australia. So I thought we'd give it a go. Let's see how it sounds. Welcome back, folks. This is Shane. You're listening to the Fender Bassbreaker 30R Amplifier. Let's take a look. So let's start with the back of the amplifier. As you can see in the back, we've got a Celestion V-type speaker and a whole lot of valves or tubes. These are EL34, so we get 4 of those. We also get some 12 AX7s in there as well. On the back also, we get a direct out that we can use to record directly to a sound card silently or to a PA system. But for today, we're just going to mic this up and see how it sounds. In terms of the speaker, we get a Celestion V-type speaker, which are really solid speakers. They're rated at 70 watts, so it will have no problems handling the 30 watts that this amplifier puts out. They really sound great for classic rock and also really nice clean also. On the back of the amp, we also get a send and return effects loop and also the ability to plug in a foot switch to change channels. On the back of the amplifier, we can also plug in an extension speaker, or we can also plug in another speaker to mute the internal one, which I think is a really cool option as well. You don't see that on a whole lot of different amps. Depending on what speaker you're using, you can change up the output and ohms over here. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say this might be the best all-in-one combo that Fender make. 30 watts, it's loud enough to gig with. You get a great clean channel that would also take pedals extremely well. It also has a really musical drive channel and a higher gain rock and roll sort of distortion channel, which means you don't really need any pedals with this thing unless you want to use them. Of course you can, but you don't really need them, which is pretty rare on a Fender amp. The only other amps that come close to this would be the Supersonic 60 in terms of the drive channel functionality and usability, but I actually think this sounds warmer and nicer and way more better to my ear than the Supersonic 22. A massive thanks to Sky Music in Melbourne, Australia for letting me do this review. I really appreciate it. If you live in Australia, check them out. All the links will be in the description below. And if you live in the US, I'll post some Sweetwater links down there as well. Let's get into it. All right, let's kick it off. I'm playing my Fender Standard Mexican Stratocaster. We're going into the clean channel of the Bassbreaker, and I've got it mic'd up with a Rode M3 and just back a bit with a Rode NT2A microphone. So you'll be hearing a blend, and I've got the bright switch currently off. And what I love about this clean channel is it just feels big and full. It's got nice punchy mids about it as well. Neck and middle, here we go. So it's got all the stuff I love about a Fender clean channel, except it's got a little bit more sparkle on the top end than say my Fender Blues Deluxe. It's got something nice going on, probably because of those EL84s. So let's turn on the bright switch. I'll play the same thing. Feels so good to play. Far out, man. Awesome. I've just turned the bright switch off. Let's try some neck pickup tones. Here we go. Now I hope that sounds as good on the recording as it does in the room. It sounds pretty cool. Let's go over to the drive channel now, and this is where this amp really shines because there's two different gain stages, and Fender actually got the drive channel on this extremely musical. Already I feel like it's a better drive channel than the Supersonic 22, which is one of their better drive channels. So I like this a lot. This is the lower gain of the two settings, bridge and middle. Neck pickup. Beautiful. And now the gain up at 12 o'clock. Take a listen to this. Bridge. Now it's got this sort of squishy feel to it. If you get onto the higher gain, which I'll show you in a moment, it gets sort of a bit more punchy as well. So let's just crank the drive up to about 2 o'clock now. Here we go, bridge pickup still. Ooh, man, this is a Fender. Sounds more like my Marshall. This is awesome. Well, actually it sounds different to my Marshall, but you know what I'm saying. It's got a lot of drive. So this is with the volume control down. Yeah, man. And now over to my Tokai Love Rock electric guitar. We're on the high gain channel now, and I've got the drive set at about 10 o'clock or thereabouts. And already it's got so much more push and drive than the lower gain channel, even with this setting. So it sort of takes off where the lower gain channel ends, basically. Here we go. This is bridge pickup. And now with the gain cranked up at 12 o'clock, which is starting to get into crazy territory, and I've actually just backed the volume off a little bit because it was getting way too loud, especially for this room. So here we go. I like this a lot. It's probably more gain than I would ever play with, but I like the fact that it's there. There's a lot of people that will get a kick out of a Fender amp that not only has the Fender clean channel with maybe a little more sparkle, but also has this growl and distortion channel. I think this sounds pretty wild. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let's crank it up one more time. And now the gain on the amplifier up at 2 o'clock. So as you can hear, there's lots of white noise coming out of the amp, which is basically like a loud amplifier with your favorite distortion pedals on. It's going to get a lot more sort of white noise coming out of it. That's all that is. That's the gain. So here we go. Have a listen to this. Bassbreaker. Holy crap. Thanks for watching, folks. My name's Shane. So what do I think of this amp overall? I actually want to buy it. It's great. I sent a text to the guys and said, how much is this amp? Because I didn't check before I left. It is awesome. I love the fact you can plug in and get any number of tones. So it ticks a lot of boxes for blues guys, people who like to play clean, as well as that higher gain stuff. Now, in terms of the volume, it gets loud really, really quick. So this probably isn't the best home amplifier. I was loud, maybe not loud enough to call the cops, but it was pretty loud in here. So hopefully the tone on the recording sounds as good as what it did in the room, because it sounds really, really nice. And it's got a nice, warm, sort of full overtone going on when you hit notes. It just feels really nice to play. Kind of reminiscent of the clean channel on my Blues Deluxe with a Swamp Thing speaker, which is a sort of higher end speaker. It still has that kind of characteristic, but it almost feels nicer to play. So maybe I'll do a shootout coming up. I'm not 100% certain, but let me know if you'd like to see that. One other thing I need to point out as well, in terms of weight, this is actually really light compared to my Blues Deluxe back there. So it means it's a way more portable amplifier, and it's loud enough to gig with. I mean, most people who are doing pub or bar gigs or whatever, 30 watts is plenty. You don't usually need more than that. I very rarely ever get my Blues Deluxe up past about 4 on the volume on the clean channel. It's just really, really loud. So in terms of gig volume, you should have plenty in this combo. A massive thanks again to Sky Music in Melbourne, Australia for letting me borrow this. I really appreciate it. Check them out online. Links will be in the description. Or if you live in the US, I'll leave some Sweetwater links down there as well. Thanks again for watching. Catch you soon. See ya.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing and click the bell for video notifications.